Today I'm going to share something special with you that was issued by the Royal Mint of England, one of the legendary mints on earth that's been creating amazing products for over 1,100 years. So when they do something this sort of quality, this is just a 2-coin set, 2 gold proof coins and 2 silver proof coins. Here's the silver proof coin. There's one Alice in Wonderland, The Adventures of Alice in Wonderland, and then Through the Looking Glass. I'll show you that one later. And of course, when the Royal Mint does something, they do it in very elegant style. These gorgeous cases, custom, beautiful wood cases. They have these amazing COAs, original artwork that comes in these wonderful boxes, and then literally like a book that I haven't looked at yet. But I'm going to share a few things about the 2 epic stories, Alice in Wonderland and then Through the Looking Glass. But first I want to tell you a few things about the author that you might not know. Of course, we all know him as Lewis Carroll. His real name is Charles Dodgson. He was one of 11 children, and he was an Oxford mathematician, inventor, cryptologist, photographer, and a deacon. He invented many things, including games, one of which we know as Scrabble. So anyway, interesting dude. He graduated top of his class in math. He remained a bachelor his whole life. He suffered from innate shyness. He was subject to bullying early on, in his life. So he had a stammer his whole life. He endured several illnesses, one of which led him with a deaf ear his entire life. But as a professional photographer, he took notable portraits of really famous people in his time. For instance, the actress Ellen Terry, the poet laureate Alfred Lord Tennyson, and the great master painter Dante Gabriel Rossetti, who was belonged to the amazing pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. So, and of course he loved photographing children. So his genius was multifaceted, but what we're going to talk about now is he had this ability to tell endless stories of fantastic tales that he totally made up right there on the spot as he was telling them. So this depicts the first of the 2-coin set, as of course Alice in Wonderland, showing her gazing into the eyes of the Cheshire Cat and having this conversation. This epic story, Alice in Wonderland, was published in 1865. Okay, it, of course, was written by Lewis Carroll, illustrated by John Tenniel. And of course, the story is of a young girl, Alice, who falls down the rabbit hole. And think just that word, rabbit hole. I mean, everybody you know has used that term. Oh man, I'm taking a deep dive down the rabbit hole. Like, this story influenced all of us. It's never not been on the marketplace. It never stopped being published. It's in over 100 languages, and it's been adopted for stages and screens and radio, art, ballets, theme parks, board games, video games. Just a testament to the brilliance of this author. And so Alice takes a fantastic journey with all these anthropomorphic creatures, and it's a prime example of literary nonsense genre. Okay, it's a play with logic that gives the story lasting popularity with both adults and children. And the narrative structure and character of the imagery have a huge influence on culture. Okay, this story was inspired by when Lewis Carroll and Reverend Robinson Duckworth and 3 young girls, they were the daughters of their friend and scholar Henry Liddell, all rowed up the river Isis in a boat. Isis is an alternative name for the river Thames that flows through the city of Oxford. And so this day was known as the Golden Afternoon for obvious reasons. So it was a real gloomy day. So Lewis decided to just entertain the girls to keep them occupied. And he made up this story about this bored little girl looking for adventure. And the girls loved it so much that Allison went so far as to literally cry when they parted. "Oh, Mr. Dodgson, I wish you would write out Alice's adventures for me." And Carroll began to write them out the very next day. Okay, so there are 150 of these, and there are 3,500 of the silver versions. So I'm pretty sure they're all sold out already. I don't really know. I haven't checked it out. I'm sure the gold ones are. Let me show you the Through the Looking Glass coin. This one was published in 1871. I think 6 years later. It's the sequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, where once again Alice enters a fantastical world, but this time by climbing through a mirror into a parallel universe. There she finds, just like a reflection in the mirror, everything's reversed. Logic, running but remaining stationary, walking away from something brings you toward it. Chessmen become alive, nursery rhyme characters, exist, etc. So this shows Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Okay, they're identical twins, two chubby characters who quote nursery rhymes, and they agree to have a battle, but they never have one. And when they see a monstrous black crow swooping down, they run for their lives. Tweedle brothers never contradicted each other, even when one of them agrees to have a battle. Rather, they complement each other's words. So here's the fascinating thing. The words Tweedledum and Tweedledee make their first appearance in 1725 when John Byron, referring to the composers Frederick Handel and Giovanni Bononcini, in a satirized disagreement between Handel and Bononcini. So it shows you the level of genius that Lewis Carroll wrote while making cultural references and historical storytelling that educates scholars. Even scholars would relate to this, while at the same time entertaining children. So, it's very, very, very fascinating guy. We've all grown up with this story. This is the silver version. I don't normally like colorized coins, but when they're this unique and special and limited. So I hope you found it interesting. It's a little longer than my videos. I try to keep them short, but it was a lot to go over. And, there's some controversy about whether or not there was something erotic between, the author and the little girl. But, scholars argue about it, and they cite examples of why they take one position or the other. But, after me doing a deep dive, and after being, in the art world all my life, when I look at his portraits, there's nothing sexualized about them. They really do capture sort of that beautiful, pure, innocent, rare period that, girls and kids go through. Plus, I remember years ago seeing an interview with the real Alice. She was, 65 years old. And this was like 20 years ago I saw this. And she just kind of assured a very, very sophisticated audience that there had never really been anything between them, that he was just an amazing human being and a gentleman and kind and respectful, and he never crossed any boundaries. So I just don't think that, that there was a problem there. All right. Enough said. Keep stacking.